It's the SKOR North Twin Show.
Up, we were down, we were all over the place in the game. Good team on the other side of the field, but our team is tough. And we kept working, never relented really at any point. I had chills after the game. I was so impressed with our group that, not every game, the game-winning homers sometimes, everyone's talking about, and it's great and all that. That's how you fight and win a ball. That's what it looks like. That's what actually fighting and winning a ball game looks like.
Okay, Declan prepared us for that Rocco clip before we clicked record here and turned the microphones on. Said, your heads might explode when you listen to Rocco describe that extra innings win yesterday. Shockingly maybe, I stand with Rocco. Okay, not every game is going to be clean. Not every game is going to be aesthetically pleasing or play out the way that you want. Sometimes you're going to be down by 5. You're going to make some dumb mistakes in the field on the bases. And what have we said about this with like the Vikings in the past? Just overcome it. Who cares? Overcome it. If you're the Twins, overcome it. Overcome some of the self-inflicted stuff. I loved that win for the Twins yesterday, and I thought that was one of the biggest weekends of the season for the hometown 9. Fight me, Judd. Fight me.
They won 3 of 4, but they won the game. But this show, a lot of times we talk about self-awareness. The quote there is, we got a lot to clean up. We're very fortunate. Thank God that we won. But to get chills, I had chills too. They were flu-like symptoms from watching the absolute, it's one thing to have a game where things go against you, right? Which, sports constantly, to overcome adversity of things that you can't control. But to sit there and shoot yourself in the foot all of those times, and for the manager to say he had chills about it, Joey Gallo, Donovan Solano, the extras were a breakdown in how not to play baseball, and were an indictment in some ways of the manager himself. Like, what's Joey Gallo doing? Dude, you go and pinch run for Vasquez at second as the man for man, and I get that. And he claimed he was tagging up. That's a bunch of crap. If you're tagging up, you're on the base waiting to go. He's trying to, you don't tag up and scurry to get back. Like, what are you doing? And Solano ran into an out at third base and said, we go on contact there. We go, well, maybe you shouldn't go on contact there, dude, because he scores. And look, Texas was atrocious too. Texas played a terrible game too. So I'm not making excuses of saying, well, the Rangers played well. This was horse bleep at its highest level. And all I'm looking for from Rocco is the self-awareness to say, you know what, we're incredibly fortunate, but we will be working on our base running tomorrow before the game against Cleveland.
Declan, remember a couple weeks ago when we asked the question, hey, Judd, if the Twins win a playoff game,
I'll be disgusted.
Will you be happy? And you paused and said, it depends on what it looks like. If Declan, I think we have seen this. Yesterday's win has irritated Judd to no end. That if that was a playoff game, you would, right, Declan? I think we nailed this.
I was gonna put out yesterday after his last tweet of under Judd ran 2.5 minutes to start the Twins show on just the disgustingness that did take place in the extra innings.
He hit the over.
I think he hit the over. So bravo, Judd.
There are little league teams. Every Sundays at Target Field, our kids get to run the bases day post game. Okay, every one of those little kids that ran the bases knew more than Solano or Gallo about what they were doing in those 90 feet between the bases or so on Sunday.
It's like some 6-year-olds and Joey Gallo running straight to second base from home plate. You gotta go this way.
Dude, it was a foul out to first base. It wasn't like to the outfield. It wasn't.
Okay. Let's dissect this for a second. By the way, welcome into the SKOR North Twins show, where we just want the Twins to win a damn playoff game. Okay,
you're right, though. I would not be happy with this. If this was a playoff win, I will get on here and I will vehemently say this is exactly what I was talking about.
And it's the State of the Twins Monday here, presented by our friends at Modest. We'll get back to the Gallo thing and a bunch of key categories and whatever. But Modest has a glorious tap room in the North Loop. In fact, my wife and I were walking around in the area. We went to the game on Friday, and we walked right by it. Usually, I would go in. We were trying to get back home, but right next to Target Field, cans available in liquor stores throughout the metro, including the 19-ounce stovepipes of some modest mainstays. That's right, 19-ounce stovepipes. The Super Deluxe Premium Lager has been my go-to modest throughout the summer here. It's one of the coolest craft breweries in the Twin Cities, opened in 2016, steps from Target Field. Modestbrewing.com, modestbrewing.com. Okay, before we get to the official state of the Twins thing, let's just I've been thinking about this Gallo base running blunder since it happened. So it's 5-5, I believe. It was a tie game. It was 5-5, right? Bottom of the 11th inning. And for those of you who didn't see this,
Yep.
so he has come in as the Manfred man. He is the runner on second base to start the inning. So there's nobody out. And a pop-up is hit in foul, not even like near the foul line. I mean, if it drops, I need to be ready to move to third base, right? This is a pop-up that is drifting out of play toward the dugout.
Twins dugout.
To the first base dugout. Yep. And so Rangers fielder goes over and makes this catch, kind of like catches it and kind of leans over the railing, like half of his body kind of goes over the railing. He looks up, he fires a missile to second base, and Gallo is like frantically trying to get back to the bag and gets tagged out by a mile. So there's no danger of the ball being fair, right? I could see like, if it's on the edge, you want to be like halfway, maybe so you can get to third base with nobody out.
He was leaning over, like he almost impaled himself on the dugout. So yes, that ball was going to be out of play before it was ever going to drift back into fair territory.
So he was either just completely spacing out on his secondary lead and he's still just standing out there paying no attention, or some people have suggested it was actually a heads up play that he initially tagged and then started. It was off camera. Maybe he had tagged. Maybe someone who saw, like, who was at the ballpark can confirm. Did he tag is my question. Because if he tagged and the ball was caught, we couldn't see him when the ball was caught. He might have been thinking, if he catches it and falls into the dugout, then I'm going to tag up and run to third, right? But if that happens, don't you get the extra base anyways? Or would you have to tag and actually make an effort to go to third?
He did. So okay. I was there. He did tag, but he screwed it up so badly. So he tagged. The guy caught the ball. He was literally, though, steps off the base. And then he's like, I can't make it. And then he like went Larry Moe and Curly and stumbled and fell down, then tried to get back up. But I mean, it was just, no matter what it was just he was completely unaware of like what the results might be. And you are the free runner at second base. You can't afford to lose. Now, in a playoff game, that does not take place, of course, because the Manfred man goes away. I understand that. But it was just the sort of like, what the hell are you thinking? Like if he had been thrown out at third, I'd be like, okay, that was a risk and I don't love it, but I get the play. Like that's a big league. That's a big league mistake. This was, honest to God, a Babe Ruth league mistake.
Yeah, this has been enough for me of Joey Gallo. Like it's just it's time to go. What else do we need from Joey Gallo taking up a roster spot here? And that was like, I went back and rewatched this. I found this on YouTube. Remember in 2009, the ALDS, when Punto ran over third? Like Denard Span, it's a great double up the middle. I think the Twins were down 2 runs. It'll be runners at second and third. And Punto runs past third base. A-Rod sees it, and him and Jeter basically tag him out, no problem. That is the style of play that Judd is talking about, though. That will cost you a playoff game. Dumb situations like that. And for me, I'm even more out on Joey Gallo than I've already been.
Offensively, by the way, and then we'll move on to other things here, many of them more positive than this. If you take away the random 4-hit game, you can even include it in the numbers I'm about to give you, but let's just take that. He had a random 4-for-4 game like a couple weeks ago. If you take that out, Joey Gallo has 5 hits since July 17th. That's a 6-week stretch. He has 5 hits in 6 weeks and 40 strikeouts. 40 strikeouts, 5 hits. Now let's add the 4 hits back in. It's still only 9 hits in 6 weeks with 40 strikeouts. Yikes.
Yeah, Declan's right.
I don't think it's hyperbole to say he's one of the most useless baseball players in Major League Baseball right now. I think he's one of the most useless baseball players in Major League Baseball. I think if you
rewound to, like, if you put the season he's having in 2019, I could justify it because the ball was juiced and jumped out of the park. But the ball now is not juiced. And to Declan's point, this is where you need guys who are going to come off the bench and contribute. Like, this is, again, between the margins, right? The sort of between the margins. What's that little percent that's going to make you better than the team that you're playing that day, especially in a playoff game?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, that was one of the worst. The extra inning fundamental breakdowns was difficult to watch for me.
Yeah. So let's get to the state of the Twins here. I've got the overall snapshot for you, and then I've got 3 categories. Okay. So overall snapshot. Twins are 68 and 63. Based on their run differential, which is like plus 50, I want to say, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
They should be a 70 or a 71 win team instead of 68. So they're actually underperforming their run differential right now, according to Baseball Reference. But they still remain 6 games ahead of the Guardians. The Twins offense from last week is up from 19th to 14th in runs per game scored. They've had
post All-Star game, it's a lot better. You are right.
But the Twins' run prevention and pitching is down to 7th in runs allowed per game. The magic number is 26. 26.
And
gentlemen.
Cleveland in for 3 now, so
that can be
drop
20 if you sweep them.
Mm-hmm.
According to Baseball Reference, the Twins have a 95% chance to make the playoffs. Fangraphs gives them a 96% chance to make the playoffs. So they have virtually clinched, barring some crazy circumstance. Baseball Reference, 3% chance to win the World Series. Fangraphs, 4% chance to win the World Series. If the playoffs started today, right now, the 3-seed Twins would host the 6-seed Houston Astros in a 3-game wild card series.
But with the way things are trending, and baseball can change quickly, they are on the precipice of hosting the Texas Rangers, who I can tell you right now, I wouldn't mind getting. That bullpen's not good. They can't hit right now. Now, that could change quickly. But if you get Texas in anything that resembles the current state, let's just say you'd have a pretty damn good chance.
Yeah, it's tough, though, now because, like, Texas is going through their worst stretch of the season. It could turn around completely in a month from now. So there's still so many things. That lineup, yeah.
I will say this: I don't like their bullpen. I don't know that bullpen is going to be good.
Yeah, they're going to have to win games like 7-6 and 9-5 and stuff, right?
You're right.
So category number 1, gentlemen, Royce Lewis and Edward Julian as well. I'm going to put both these guys into this talker. Are among the hottest starts to a Twins career in franchise history. So this morning, thanks to our friends at stathead.com, I went in and I plugged in the first 50 games of a Twins player's career, minimum 100 plate appearances. And I just sorted it by OPS. Have you seen this list, by the way? Declan probably saw it on Twitter.
I saw your tweet.
Okay,
yep.
But have you combed through? Did you study the table,
No.
Can I quiz you?
Sure.
Okay. Who do you think? Which Twins player in history got off to the hottest start? First 50 games, OPS, on base plus slugging.
Oh boy.
Actually, if you can name the top 3, anyone in the top 3. Edward Julian, 4th.
Oh wow. Okay.
Royce Lewis, 14th.
Okay. Top 3. Is Kent Hrbek in the top 3?
Kent Hrbek is 10th.
Okay. Is Tony Oliva in the top 3?
Tony Oliva is number 1.
Okay.
He is. So he had his first 50 games, which, by the way, he played a few games in 1962 and then a few games in 63. And then he was Rookie of the Year in 1964.
Yeah.
So his 50 games came kind of over the course of a few years. He had a 1,068 OPS, a 387 batting average in his first 50 games with 9 home runs.
Hall of Famer. Let me give this a little bit of quick thought here. Rod Carew.
Rod Carew is not in the top 20.
Oh wow, that's surprising. Okay, I'll take one more guess and then we can move on because This is
kind of fun, actually.
All day. I'm going to guess Killebrew doesn't qualify because he started as a senator.
I'll give you a hint that the other two in the top three are of more of the modern era.
In the millennium.
In the 2000s.
Okay. Okay.
And they're both you're going to be like, oh yeah, totally. With both these guys.
In the 2000s.
In 2000.
In the year 2000.
Interesting.
One of them we like to chant his name.
Well, it's not
I mean,
gonna be
chant might not be the right word, but like we like to say his name, his first name. Lou Ford.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Just give me the last two. I have no chance of getting Lou Ford. I wouldn't.
Really? Lou Ford batted 3.
Yeah,
I thought it was like
Lou.
one of the most him and Minkiewicz, but Minkiewicz kind of came up and stopped and started.
Right.
But Lou Ford came up and batted like 400 in his first few weeks. He had a 351 average through the first 50 games. And then Miguel Sano has the third highest OPS through the first 50 games. He had 13 homers and 40 RBI in his first 50 games as a Minnesota Twin.
Yeah, he did get off to a good start. That's
insane.
True. Yeah, that's not surprising.
I'm just going to read you the other names on the hottest starts in Twins history. Oliva, Ford, Sano, Julian, Mike Ryan, Rich Rollins. That's way back. That's 1961.
Yeah, 60s.
Joe Mauer, David Ortiz, Steve Lombardozzi. Maybe Dex can look that one up.
Lambo. Who's that?
The Lambo.
Yeah, perhaps Declan can look that up for me.
Kent Herbeck was 10th. Marty Cordova, 11th. Josemiel Pinto, 12th.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, really?
Luis Arraez, 13th, just ahead of Royce Lewis. Dave Edwards from the late 70s. Denard Span, Greg Nettles, Williams Astudillo, Danny Valencia, and Danny Santana those are the 20 hottest starts based on OPS to a Twins career. Yeah.
That's a hodgepodge of names right there.
Some are some of the greatest Twins players of all time. Some are complete busts like Mike Ryan. And then Royce Lewis, you'd think maybe this is a good sign for his career. But the Grand Slam. So Royce Lewis, too, in high leverage situations through those first 50 games. Royce Lewis, this is like close, late, game on the line, high leverage situations. Royce Lewis is hitting .371 with a .657 slugging percentage. He's clutch. He's smooth. He's charismatic. I don't know what more you want from a guy.
I don't. He's good. He's good. He's very good. He should be your. I mean, I would prefer that he plays third base as much as possible, and I believe he was a DH on Sunday. But yeah, no, Royce Lewis is the type of baseball player that puts a smile on your face. He's fun to watch. He makes baseball look fun. He is a guy who, when he delivered the Grand Slam, like there's a genuine excitement too. It's just he is. If we're talking about cornerstone type of players, he should be a cornerstone player for a long time. I really like him. So
yeah, outside of probably Mauer, and I know Luis Arraez became a fan favorite pretty quick, but Luis Arraez was not like a perennial top 3 organizational prospect, wasn't he? I don't remember him being one of the 3 best in the organization. He was a deep guy and just was a natural hitter. Royce Lewis is like the first real homegrown potential, because he's still young, superstar at this franchise has basically earthed, I believe, since Joe Mauer. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah. Well, now that we know what happened with Sano, and now that we know sort of like Buxton's career, right? It's a great exercise. Yeah, some of these other guys. I mean, Denard Span was homegrown, but he never rose to the
solid
superstar
Royce
level.
Lewis has the potential, but I mean, there was a time when Sano and Buxton seemed to be tracking that way as well. So like, it's like the thing about Royce is he has torn his knee up twice. So it is a bit of a hold your breath on the injury front. But yes, I think he has both the talent and charisma. Because that's what as good as Joe was, he didn't have that. Like Royce Lewis he's got something about him where if it was more acceptable or frequent to name captains in baseball, Royce Lewis strikes you as a future captain.
You know who he actually reminds me of the most in terms of homegrown Twins players the last like 25 years is Torrey Hunter. He's got some loves the game, plays with a joyfulness, but a follow me, but also there's a little bit of an edge.
he seems like what and Torrey definitely fell into this class. He seems, and he clearly was not, but like a Puckett influence guy.
Well, Torrey Hunter was very much a Puckett influence guy.
Torrey was, but Royce Lewis seems like a Puckett influenced guy. It's like he watched or was around Puckett, which he clearly was not. But Torrey and that group picked up so much from Puck as far as like how they approach the game, and they're sort of boisterous, but I think it was pretty popular clubhouse demeanors. I don't know if Royce is super boisterous, but he seems like a guy who sort of has the same type of love for the game that Puck did.
Yeah, I think, and somebody, we did a Purple Daily live show at the State Fair, and thanks to everyone for coming out. And it turned into kind of like a SKOR North twin show too, because we were taking questions from the audience.
It was therapy.
It turned into a therapy session. And somebody asked you about, is there any way you can draw a comparison between the 1987 Twins and these Twins? Because the 87 Twins, they won like 85 games. They won a bad division. They were a flawed team. And then they went on a buzzsaw run through the postseason. And we kind of keep coming back to that team had some bona fide cornerstone stars on it. Even though the full team only won 85 games, you still had Kirby Puckett, who was one of the best players in baseball, and Kent Herbeck was one of the best hitters in baseball. I do wonder if there's a an 87-91 Kirby Puckett postseason explosion for a Royce Lewis. Joe Mauer never had that. Joe Mauer was also injured for a couple different postseasons.
Yep.
Like Mauer, even Torrey Hunter, like those teams were just swept out of so many playoff runs. It's been a long time since we've seen it. Really, it's been 2002. AJ Pierzynski had a grand slam. There were some big performances when they got to the ALCS, but it's been over 20 years since we've seen someone from a Twins lineup say, I'm going to go gangbusters here and I'm going to have like 8 RBI in a series and carry this thing. I think Royce Lewis has that in him. I really do.
And that's where these young players are going to be the heartbeat of this team in the playoffs. It's the reason why I believe if there's going to be a postseason moment, it's going to be a Royce Lewis or a Kirilloff or an Edward Julian type of hit. Can Carlos Correa maybe be that guy? Sure, but I'm not counting on that. I'm honestly counting on one of these young guys being the one in the bottom of the 7th in a high leverage situation where you need a big knock that they're going to come through, and not maybe the veteran that you paid a lot of money to.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. The thing too is, and I think if I'm not mistaken, as part of the clip or the post-game press conference that Baldelli had on Sunday, there was some point where he was talking about the difference that the guys that Declan is discussing that they weren't here previously. Like, Matty Wallner wasn't here and so wasn't here. Yeah, exactly. This is why they're here now. Like I agree with Declan. I think the young players, like if there's one thing about this team where my attitude has changed, I think the young players have not only brought a lot at the plate and played well, but there's also sort of a refreshing way about things, right? Like they appear to enjoy this. They appear to, there's a lot of things that they cover up. And it does go back to, this is why, 1, they should play, which they are more now. And 2, this is why they belonged here. Like you were sort of making guys earn their way. And my question was why? Like when Joey Gallo was playing a ton, it's like, I think Matt Wallner can play. And so like, I do like the fact that it feels like for the most part that there is an acknowledgement now about the difference that these kids can make. Just next time when a team baits you into putting Julian in the on-deck circle, Rocco.
Oh, here we go.
Please do me a favor and don't burn him. Seriously, man. You know how many things yesterday could have lost you a playoff game? You know how many things you got? Bruce Bochy did you. Bruce Bochy did you there.
Well, he's won like multiple World Series too.
Dude, there's no shame in getting Bochy'd, okay?
No, I know, but here's the thing. I would rather have Kyle Farmer face the righty than get cute, knowing full well that in the bullpen, you got more guys on your coaching staff than God. Somebody say, hey, Rocco, there's a lefty up. They're going to bait us into burning Julian.
Or just let Julian, if you commit it, because the rule is,
that's fine.
If the guy in the on deck circle is announced, right? If he's announced as a hitter coming to the plate,
he's in the game.
He's in the game, and if you then take him out, even if he did not get a plate appearance, he can't come back in the game.
Correct.
So in that situation, you're probably better off either just rolling with Julian, right? I don't know, but
Well, not Christian Vasquez. Okay, that's my only thing. Again, I'm looking at the playoffs here.
actually, let's get into another. You know what? I'm gonna
look at this.
I disagree with something that you said was a mistake. I mean, everything you've said so far, the Gallo stuff, the getting out chessboarded with the Julian thing. There's definitely things to nitpick, and I agree. And I have issues with Rocco, whatever. But there was something you thought was a bad move on Saturday that I thought was actually a brilliant move that we're going to get to in just a second. After we say hi to our friends at Nutrisource. Nutrisource Chicken and Rice is the go-to breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack of Maya Mackey. We also have other Nutrisource dogs on this show. It's the official dog food of the SKOR North Twin Show.
Yeah, look at that. Stella right there taking a picture with her training rewards treats. In some ways, you could say that Nutrisource has scored a SKOR North hat trick because we got 3 dogs and every one of them, including the Vinster, right, Declan, loves their Nutrisource.
Yeah, Vinny's a switch hitter. You can put a righty or lefty. It doesn't matter. He's gonna get both those Nutrisource treats. Whether you go lefty, righty specialist, does not matter. He's a switch hitter. He's ready for the assignment. You don't have to worry about subbing him in and out. He's ready for his Nutrisource no matter who's on the mound.
Pinch hitting for Vincent Goff.
Christian Vasquez.
Boo!
NutrisourcePetFoods.com. NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer near you. Now, let's say you've had a little too much Nutrisource. You've been overindulgent with your Nutrisource, and now it's time to lose weight, okay? If you're a human, anyways, you can call our friends at Livia.
Stop eating Nutrisource. Yep. No, Phil is exactly right. In fact, my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers have been named Minnesota's best weight loss program. Again, a hat trick, 3 consecutive years, 3 years in a row, 14 years of changing lives. And that calls for a celebration. And that celebration right now is if you join now, 3 months free. That's right, 3 months free, a hat trick of months in which you are going to drop weight, feel fantastic, and you are just starting on a program that is going to work. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. Livia, LIVEA.com. Don't eat Nutrisource, but if you're enjoying that human food and a bit too much, your next call or your next check to the website should be Livia.com.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so on Saturday, the only game that the Twins lost to the Rangers here, we go into, I'm just going to pull up the details here too on Baseball Reference. So we go into the 8th inning. It's 2-2. It's a tie game. And the Rangers, number 1, 2, and 3 hitters are coming to the plate. These are the 3 best hitters in the Rangers lineup. You had Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Nathaniel Lowe. So yeah, it's a tie game. It's not a safe situation. And the Twins turn to Duran here. So Pagan got through a clean inning, and they decide, okay, now that the lineup's turning over, he got the bottom of the order out. And that's how you should use Pagan. Lower the leverage for him, the better. Now they bring Duran in to face the 3 best hitters in the league and one of the best 1-2-3 hitter combinations in the entire game, right? And Duran buzzes through these guys. Actually, there was a single, and then he buzzes through with the strikeout, and then gets the strike him out, throw him out, double play, and that was a wrap on the inning. And I saw Judd and a lot of other people complaining, and then Griffin Jax comes in for the 9th, and he's in the middle of a bad stretch here, and things go haywire. 4 runs score. Dylan Floro came in after Jax made a mess of it. But I saw Judd and some other people saying, well, why would you burn Duran in the 8th? Why wouldn't you wait for a better spot to bring him in? This was the perfect spot to use Duran. Tie game, 8th inning, 3 best hitters coming up, and you got to put out this fire. So I thought, as much as we rip Rocco on this show and some of the Twins' philosophies and whatever, this was a great example of not being beholden to a closer's role. Oh, he can't come in unless it's a save situation. You got the 3 best hitters. If you don't get them out, the 9th inning might not matter. So I actually loved the deviation from the roles in the 8th inning there. And then, of course, you're going to have to bring other guys in later. You're either going to bring in Jax to face those 3 guys or somebody else. They made it easier on Jax, and he still couldn't get the outs. To me, it was a great decision that just didn't have a good result.
And if Jax was pitching well, the problem is this, and I think my frustration on Saturday was born from the fact that once Duran got done, and that's fine, I guess, that Jax is struggling now, and So to your point, it became a mess. And it's just, I think my frustration is it would be very nice to have a little bit more trustable bullpen depth there. Because I get your point on Duran, and I actually don't have as big a problem with that probably. It was just more of a frustration of the fact that Jax came in, and it's not like he's going great guns, and it became a mess, unfortunately. And then Floro, who actually did get the win on Sunday. Floro, I don't really trust much. So I think that was my frustration, though, was the fact that you were going to back end it with a guy who you would hope is pitching well. But right now, and again, Jax has gone back and forth, too. So in his defense, I think he got off to a terrible start, rebounded with a really good, nice stretch. That was more of my point. But it would be nice to have more depth. But I'm the one who said, too, in their defense, I wouldn't have made a big trade for a bullpen arm that you trust. Would be nice, but if the going price was high, I'm not going to bolster this team by trading away more of the future. So I guess in some ways, this is what you're going to get, which is if the philosophy is correct, you don't have a guy now behind Duran that you trust. This is what's going to take place at times. And it could take place in a playoff game too. Like, that's right. They could do this. This could be the blueprint to loss 19 in the playoffs, which is it's right to send Duran in. But if you do that and Griffin Jax is scuffling, you don't have another guy unless you're going to go to a demoted starter potentially to bring in after Duran.
But that's also the cards you're dealt. Like if you have decided that this is clearly your playoff roster, which mostly is right now, and you burn Duran in that high leverage situation in the 8th, I mean, you just got to eat your lunch there. Like the Brewers did that with Josh Hader a few times in the playoffs a few years ago with Counsell. Like he brought him in like in the 5th when the middle of the order was up, and I was like, what are they doing bringing in their? Well, it's the
Games
middle of
on
their
the line.
order. Games in the line. You can't wait until the 9th to use your best pitcher if you need really 3 outs right here, right now. And I like that move. Yeah, Gardy was always like, nope. If Matt Guerrier is our setup man, he is our setup man. We are not burning Joe Nathan in the 7th or 8th inning here. It's Matt Guerrier. It's into Jesse Crane. It's into Joe Nathan. It's going to follow that suit. If you need outs right away from your best arm, got to use them right there.
Yeah. So I guess the other option would have been, because he only threw 12 pitches, you could have potentially dragged him out there for a second inning.
He's not pitching great right now himself, though. So I do sort of get that.
And if you do bring him out for a second inning, he's not available to pitch in a game yesterday, for instance, that's close and down to the wire. And he did, he pitched a clean 10th inning to keep that game going. Does somebody else? That's the chain of events. Like if you go 2 innings with Duran on Saturday, there's no guarantees you win that game. And then he's unavailable Sunday. Does somebody else come in and blow the game on Sunday? So, I mean, I think we can all agree. The ultimate answer is the frustration is they need better relievers overall.
Well, here's my question. In the playoffs, let's put them in that exact predicament. If that's the predicament, does Louis Varland, if you just say, get me 3 outs, does he become an option instead of if Jax is scuffling? Now, if Jax is back, he's probably fine. Well, but if Jax is scuffling, is a guy like Varland who can just go out there and throw gas to try and get 3 outs, does he become an option that clearly you don't have right now because that roster is not set?
This is a perfect segue into the final section of our State of the Twins here. It's called,
and that is Dallas Keuchel should start every game for the Twins.
You're close. You're getting close. It's just the bullpen structuring in the postseason is the category. And so Dan Hayes from The Athletic tweeted this yesterday. The Twins didn't add to their bullpen at the deadline. Instead, they're considering converting starting pitchers Louis Varland and Kenta Maeda to relievers for the playoffs, as well as hoping for help from Brock Stewart, Chris Paddock, or Jorge Alcala. So those are 3 guys who are injured. I think you have to put them off to the side. But the Varland and Maeda thing is really interesting because now all of a sudden, if you're telling me, hey, okay, my starting rotation for the playoffs is Jorge Lopez, Sonny Gray, and Joe Ryan, who came back and looked like the old Joe Ryan for the most part in his first start back, right? So those are your 3 starters. And so now I get, in addition to Duran, Jax, Thielbar, the usual suspects, now I also get Louis Varland to tinker around with. And if if he's channeling all of his energy into like 25 pitches, you get 1 inning, 25 pitches, he's throwing really hard, right? Kenta Maeda, who we'll get to in a second, has a storied career as a playoff reliever. And I would even throw a third name in that mix. Dallas Keuchel came on in relief yesterday. They handcuffed Dallas Keuchel to Bailey Ober. He goes 5 innings, kind of a classic Dallas Keuchel, a lot of weak contact, some batted ball luck, but it was 5 scoreless innings. They don't have many reliable left-handed pitchers at all at their disposal. He can come in, get a ground ball double play, face some lefties. So, dude, Kenta Maeda as a reliever in the playoffs is lights out. So in 3 years with the Dodgers, he was strictly a reliever in the bull. So he was a starting pitcher in the regular season and then strictly a reliever for 3 postseason runs with the Dodgers between 2017 and 2019. In 21 relief playoff appearances, a lot of them in the World Series, by the way, he had a 1.64 ERA with 27 strikeouts, 5 walks in 22 innings. Opposing hitters hit 185 with a 275 slugging percentage against Kenta Maeda, the reliever, in the postseason. And he's facing like defending world champion Cubs lineup, cheating Astros lineup in 17. So I'm just saying, like, their bullpen gets a lot better by just putting Maeda and Varland and maybe even Keuchel in the mix with some of these other guys.
And Keuchel can be handcuffed too. I mean, that actually did work out perfectly because Ober has not pitched well of late for sure. And, he gives up the 5 runs. Keuchel comes in and he doesn't throw hard, but he pitched 5. He held them hitless, the Rangers, for 5 innings and pitched really damn well. Maeda and Varland especially, I think, give you back end help. So I think Varland is probably a guy, to your point, Phil, that you say, again, especially if you don't trust Griffin Jacks by that point fully. He's a guy who comes in and you're just like, throw as hard as you damn can.
Let's hump it up, dude. Yeah,
Maeda
I like that
might
idea.
Be both ways, but yes, I do think that the bullpen substantially improves if it's used right. I think it substantially improves, and I'm with you too. If Joe Ryan can string together a bunch of appearances like what we saw on Saturday, he's back to my 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's back to my 3.
Yeah, and it's either like you're. It's basically
becomes the wild card. I don't know if he's on my first round roster.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, if you really wanted to, there's a bunch of guys. You don't need Dylan Floro. Dylan Floro has the best version of Dylan Floro is really helpful to you in the postseason. But if you're not getting it, would you? How much do you want to lean on converted starters as relievers in the biggest games of the season? Who can do it?
To what you're saying, has done it before.
Yep, he can do it.
No concern there.
What you should do with Varland is if that's going to be the case, you should test that out in September when rosters expand. He should be up in your bullpen, and you should just see, like, can he get loose? Can he get ready? Can he come in the middle of an inning and pitch out of the stretch and all that stuff? Yep.
The problem now, though, is because of the rules that have been in place for a couple of years, rosters only expand by 2 players, and that's going to be some guys who probably come back, i.e. Buxton and Castro. So it's not the old going up to 40 players per team. But I agree. I would try that out. But I do think in those 2 scenarios, you could have definitely substantial improvement bullpen-wise for the playoffs and put yourself in a position where you don't feel like, oh, my God, we threw Duran and now we're going to have to throw Jax. He's scuffling and it comes apart and you are absolutely screwed.
Yep. So I don't. The bullpen right now, not comfortable with that thing in a postseason series. The bullpen with Maeda as part of it, and that's the thing. Like, you don't need 5 starting pitchers when you get to the playoffs. So you're not going to be relying on some of these relievers like you would. You're going to be putting better pitchers in some of those spots. So we'll see what they wind up looking like.
And I feel like Dallas Keuchel is the break glass in case of emergency guy for a handcuff. So let's say you fall behind 3, kind of like yesterday, right? You fell behind early 5-0. You don't want to start burning guys that you're down. So can Dallas Keuchel weather the storm a little bit, handcuff you as your offense maybe figures things out and chips away at a lead? I think that's probably the best way to go about that, is to handcuff him with someone. Because the front 3 guy, if Joe Ryan's back, front 3, I'm good with that. It's if they get to the ALDS or a CS and now you're, kind of wishy-washy on who has to start because everyone's tired or burned up, that it gets a little more complicated. But those are good problems to have for a Twins playoff team.
Or like extra innings too. It's it's a 6-6 game. We've already burned 5 pitchers or something, and the Manfred man is not part. So these might be 16-inning games. All right, Dallas Keuchel, get out there, man. Get out there in the 10th and see if you can give us 4 innings. So they do have a lot of possibilities that are going to be in play here over the next few weeks. Any other final Twins thoughts before we get to the Immaculate Grid today?
No, that was a very
covered a lot of ground
discussion. There. Yeah. I mean, just don't make dumb moves, and you might win a playoff game. But yes, you guys nailed it. Sunday's win would not have been acceptable in my world.
God, I can't wait till the day after their first playoff
win
win
Joey Gallo
since 2004, and Judd is just furious on the show.
My prediction is you will lose that game, though. My prediction is that you will lose that.
You can make
game.
mistakes and still win a baseball game. I know they haven't over the last 20 years, but
I'm just saying, I think if they're playing the Astros, I think the Astros take advantage there and win that game.
I'm already planning for my fiance to be out of the house for that series. She asked yesterday, what do you want to do when the playoffs start? And I was like, well, if we love each other, you should probably leave the house for the 48 hours.
I don't understand, though. They've lost 18 consecutive games. There's like no high pressure here. It's just gravy. I mean, if it's
true, there is zero pressure on them.
20.
They're the worst division winner. They're gonna have they likely have a worse record than the team that they're hosting.
Win a playoff game. Like you're expecting nothing. You're not expecting a series win. You're not expecting a World Series. Like that's where there's pressure. That's where there's a combustion in the house. It becomes a problem.
To that point, because it's the first time that we've really put zero pressure on them, like fans and media. I was at the ballpark on Friday night just as a fan wandering around. It's a very casual fan base. People are half paying attention, but people are excited. This is more of an exciting sort of pop-up feel than maybe it should be. I mean, this is what they should have been the last 2 or 3 seasons too, which is where our frustration stems from. And they're underachieving this year too. But I do think the lowering of the expectations probably helps this group going in. And they're lying if they tell you that they don't hear it or think about the streak, the 0-18, And by the way, the front office for a couple of years could say, well, I mean, we're new here. Well, but now that front office is responsible for like 33% of those playoff losses, or not responsible for.
The streak was
they've
14
overseen it
when they arrived, right?
I think it was 12.
Oh, that's right. They lost 3 to the Yankees, didn't they? Yes, they did.
3
to the Yankees, 2 to the Astros,
including a wild card game. So
and a wild card game against the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, but that was Falvey, but Molitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. But under Falvey.
Gotcha. But the front office has overseen it.
Well, they definitely hear it. Yeah, they definitely hear it.
So
they deserve to hear it.
By the way, over at scorenorth.com/shop, we have unveiled a fun new wing. All right, so we've had the merchandise up there for I think like the past 9 or 10 months, where you can still find all sorts of fun merchandise. But now we have a collectibles wing where you can get your hands on, thanks to our friends at Universal Sports Auctions. These are all buy it nows, by the way. You can get your hands on some autographed, incredible merchandise, moments that are framed and signed. Like the most popular thing so far is the signed and framed Justin Jefferson one-handed catch. You'll see it on the YouTube screen here too. Plenty available. There's a Torrey Hunter custom signed jersey in the mix. All sorts of Viking stuff on here. If you're a baseball fan too, a Sandlot jersey with the cast signing. That's kind of cool. And all sorts of fun stuff. So whether you're looking for gift ideas or just things to put maybe in your man cave or your office, whatever it is, you can use the promo code SKOR to save 10% on all products site-wide. That's scorenorth.com/shop. Click on collectibles. scorenorth.com/shop and click on collectibles. Boys, are you ready? We're past the drama of last week, right? No one's done the Immaculate Grid yet today without telling the other show members, I don't think.
No, I started the hockey one, but I haven't even looked at the baseball one.
Okay. You didn't consult with Jessie Pierce, the queen of Immaculate Grid? Maybe do a Judd's
Well, I just did one part of it, which was the stars.
I would say the YouTube comments section is pretty split on who was in the right and who was in the wrong. Yeah, pretty split.
50% of the audience is wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say.
50% of the audience doesn't care about
Yeah.
the audience, is what I would say, ironically. But we are all together here, kumbaya, ready to go 9 for 9 on today's Immaculate Grid Challenge. So here's what we're looking for. We'll put 6 minutes on the clock. We're looking for a Tiger who was once a Diamondback, a Tiger who won a Gold Glove, and a Tiger who won the Cy Young Award. We're looking for a Guardian or an Indian who was once a Diamondback, a Guardian who won a Gold Glove, and a Guardian who won the Cy. And then we're looking for an Oakland A who was a Diamondback, an Oakland A who won a Gold Glove, and an Oakland A who won a Cy Young. Before we start, I'm going to get us, just so we can have some parameters here.
Okay.
When did Cy Young Award start?
It started, I think, in
56.
In 56 with one Cy Young, and it broke up
I actually
in the 60s at some
feel
point.
like that's the easiest category because there's multiple I can think of for all these teams in this millennium for Cy.
Yeah.
Gold Glove was 57.
Gold Glove. This
Gold
this
Glove would be a little
Immaculate
tough.
Grid is fully unacceptable.
Why?
First of all, it's the
I think this is an
Diamondbacks.
easy
I
one.
don't like new teams. Second of all, I hate the Gold Glove.
They're not even
At
that
the
new,
very-
dude. The Diamondbacks have
more
been around for
teams.
like 30 years.
Give me more
25
teams, but I want
You
more
have a
teams.
lot of gripes with the Immaculate Grid. You
I
have
do.
more
I'm
gripes than
pissed
anyone
off
else.
about it. I want more teams. I like doing players who played for teams.
But then don't play the Pirates. Then don't put in the Diamondbacks. I want more teams, and then there's less teams, and here we are with awards.
Give me more teams.
I, for one, embrace today's challenge.
Yeah, me
Declan.
too. I love this one. I
Justin
think we can-
Verlander.
Hell, let's put
There's a
6.
lot,
We'll
yeah.
put 6 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Okay.
All right.
So I mean,
Jordan.
Verlander with the won a Cy Young.
Yep.
Who else with the? No, Jack Morris never did.
I don't
with
think
the
he did.
Tigers.
We got
Pitcher of the 80s, but I don't think he won.
Jeremy
So,
Bonderman never won one.
oh god,
Mike Maroth.
Mickey
So-
Lolich.
So Scherzer, Verlander.
Denny McLain. Because he
I
won
don't-
30 games in 69. I think he won 30 games, which is incredible.
I mean, if we're trying to flex our rarity score,
I mean, if you
muscle,
guys want to do the rarity
let's
score
say,
thing,
let's
we
save
can.
that one. Let's save the Denny McLain guess for
But
the
if you
end.
don't
in
want
case-
to, that's fine too.
Let's just save that box for now. We got Verlander in our back pocket, so we know
Kluber?
we can do it.
Kluber, Bieber,
Bob Feller.
Sabathia.
Bob Feller, I think was when did Bob Feller retire? I think he missed this. I think he might have missed the Cy Young window.
Okay.
CC.
Sabathia win one?
You
Did
didn't
he win one?
No,
Yeah.
yes, you won one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's at least three or four right there.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and pick your favorite one. Kluber,
Oh, Sabathia.
Sabathia,
25. It was good.
25%.
It's gonna be high.
Okay, A's
Oakland A.
Zito.
Vita Blue.
Oh, I would.
Vita Blue. He won the MVP, right? And
Yeah,
the
he was-
Cy.
Yep, cover Sports Illustrated.
There we go.
The late great
Oh,
Vita Blue.
22%.
Oh, that sucks.
I was gonna go
Hey,
Vita
for a
Blue, but-
Cleveland Gold Glove, Omar Vizquel probably won a Gold Glove
Okay,
for
hold
10.
on. Did he play for the Diamondbacks?
Vizquel?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Seattle.
Vizquel playing for the Diamondbacks.
Okay. I thought he bounced around a lot towards the
And he
end.
might have. But I don't remember
I
him playing.
don't,
for
Okay.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
So we could go. There's probably other ones too.
Kipnis? Was he ever a Gold Glover?
Was he?
I hate Gold Gloves.
Sizemore? I don't.
Gold Glove is so hard.
That's
Brady's
a
girls.
Field.
Boy, Sizemore was in there in the Torrey Hunter era.
Yeah. It was
We
tough.
know Omar Vizquel did, but
Yeah,
that's
I'd
going to be
stick
the
with Omar
obvious guess.
Vizquel.
Okay.
That's fine.
25.
25.
Okay.
Yeah, the rarity score is going to be tougher on this one.
Yeah. it is.
Dan Heron. A's and Diamondbacks.
Yep. That's a good one. That'll be a high one too, right? Probably 15%,
12.
12.
Did JD
I'm
Martinez
good at
play
guessing the
for Detroit?
percentages.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Because he played for the Diamondbacks.
There you go. JD Martinez. Oh, JD Drew would be a good one to guess sometime.
Oh, that
Okay,
is-
we're rolling here. We have 4 squares
All right.
left. We have 3.5 minutes to go.
Cleveland, Arizona. Did Kluber land with the D-backs in one of his cup of coffees?
Is this in? I don't know. Edwin
I wouldn't swear to it, so
Jackson.
don't do it. if you
What
don't.
about did Jarrett Wright? Did he pitch for the Diamondbacks in the late 90s?
God, is this an Edwin Jackson? He played for Arizona for sure. I don't know if he played for Cleveland.
I'm trying to think of those like late 90s Diamondback squads. Craig
Absolutely.
Counsell never played for Cleveland.
I feel like that's gonna be the toughest.
You know, you had Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Tony Womack. He never played for the
Kenny
Indians or
Lofton
whatever.
didn't go there. No.
Kenny Lofton did not play for the Diamondbacks, as far as I recall.
What about a gold? Let's knock out the Gold Gloves here too. So Gold Glove, Tiger, Trammell.
Trammell, Sweet Lou probably won one, but yeah.
Lou Whitaker. Let's go Trammell.
I think it's
Alan
shortstops.
Trammell?
Yes.
Okay.
Alan Trammell.
Judd's seething at having to explain who Alan Trammell is to Declan.
I'm not seething. I'm patient this week.
A's Gold Glove.
A's Gold Glove.
Tejada win one?
Did he? Did
don't
Eric
know.
Burns win one? We don't have to. Mark Kotze?
I think it'd be like between Tejada and like Chavez.
Oh, Eric
those-
Chavez.
Sure.
He was
That's
pretty
right,
good at the hot corner, wasn't he? Eric Chavez.
This could be wrong, but I think you're probably right.
It's so hard. Like
I know. That's why.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, good.
everything's
That's why I hate-
20%.
That's why I hate the Gold Glove.
All right, so we have 2 minutes to get. Well, basically, we know that we can plug Justin Verlander in. It's just, do we want to take a chance on Denny McLain? Well, you know what? It doesn't even matter because we're not going for a rarity score
Yeah,
today.
so just go Justin.
Let's just go Verlander. Let's
I'm
go
pretty
9
sure
for 9.
McLean won one, but yeah, since we're not trying to.
When Aaron Boone joined John Boy for a one, they actually were going for the highest possible answers.
Oh, okay.
Instead of going for immaculate
they were
and
trying to
rarity,
tank.
they were actually trying to go for the
Gotcha.
highest possible square.
That's a good one.
Interesting.
So we have a minute 20 left to figure out a Diamondback who was an Indian or a Guardian.
Okay. Former Twins, too.
Did
Pavano didn't go to
Brad
Arizona.
Hand play for
Ooh.
the Diamondbacks? Declan?
Played for
That
Cleveland.
sounds pretty. Brad Hand. Let's keep that
He's bounced around.
Chaska's own.
This might be an Edwin. I know he played for Arizona.
He probably played for Cleveland.
He probably did play for Cleveland. Outfielders.
Dudes.
Chris Perez, the closer that he was a closer for the Gardos in like a little
Yeah.
bit. Did he also go to Arizona? That'd be a flex.
That I don't know.
Did Todd Jones? Wait, I don't know if he was. Bob
He was
Wickman. Did he
Detroit.
play for the Diamondbacks?
I don't think he played for Cleveland. I think he played for Detroit.
30
I know-
seconds.
Did Hafner go to the Diamondbacks? Travis Hafner?
Oh my God.
My Diamondbacks history
Probably,
sucks.
but I don't know. The Diamondbacks are it's such a transient team. You
That's
know?
that's why I don't like them. It's these transients.
I think it might be an Edwin Square.
We might have to try Edwin Jackson here. Okay, let's try. Edwin Jackson has played for 14 major league teams.
I think you're safe.
We're desperate. We have 10
I
seconds
think
to
you're
go.
safe. I think you're safe. Hit it.
Edwin Jackson.
Oh!
Oh.
I mean, we would have had a
Yeah, I'm gonna look up Brad Hand. I'm just curious if Brad Hand.
Trevor Bauer. That would have been.
Oh, that's the
most
obvious.
obvious.
So obvious. Trevor Bauer.
Damn it!
Damn it.
Only 38% of people have gotten that square. That's
Wow.
That's no excuse for us. It's
That's
three of us. We're supposed to be sports geniuses.
That's one of the lowest percentage squares we've ever seen, though. Only 38% of people got.
The most
Hand never
common
played
by
for
games
Arizona.
played for both teams on Baseball Ref. Mark Reynolds, that would have been. Oh,
Mark
you know who
Reynolds.
played 8 games with Cleveland? Jason Kubel. Kubel would have been a
wow.
flex.
By the way,
That
Denny
would've been-
McLean did win the 1960. He won back-to-back size, 1968, 1969
This one, Matt Williams was another one.
for Cleveland.
Yeah, I should remember that. That's my.
He played there
That's
in
my.
'97.
That's my bad. I'll take credit for that one. That's my bad.
Well, you know what?
Jordan
We'll
Luplo,
dust ourselves off.
current twin.
We'll try again tomorrow. Luplo
Jordan
played for
Luplo's
both.
a D-back?
Reggie Sexton. Oh wow, interesting.
Forgot about
I got to be.
Sexton.
I think the D-backs are one of the teams I know the least about, like as far as like identifying players.
Because guys go through, it's like you'll just have a random guy go through one at a time. Like if you just pull up a random Diamondback season, like let's just say 2005 Diamondbacks.
Michael Bourne. I should have gotten Michael Bourne.
Speedy, Michael Bourne was speedy.
guy. Yeah.
Astros.
2005 Diamondbacks. They had like Royce Clayton played for the Diamondbacks in 2005. Remember that
He did?
guy? Yeah.
Royce
Troy
Clayton.
Glaus.
Oliver Perez.
Luis Gonzalez has played for a few different
I
teams.
just don't
Sean
think I.
Green. Did you know Sean Green played for the Diamondbacks?
I just don't watch them.
It's nuts. Alex Cintrone. That's another guy that's played for a bunch of teams. Quentin McCracken, former Twin.
How many games did Sean Green play for Arizona? Or years?
He had a big season that year. So he played there for a year and a half.
Blue Jay and
And
Dodger, I remember.
he
him
had
as.
22 home runs the one year and then got off to a hot start, got traded to the Mets in 2006. It's a transient team. Like, they'll just have random guys for a couple of years that oh yeah, that guy. And then they move on somewhere else.
Dust myself off and come back next time.
So, all right, well, 8 out of 9. We're a failure. We'll try again here. If you guys could, to help boost the rejuvenated SKOR North Twin Show, which has come back a month and a half ago from a 2-year hiatus, if you could give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and click the like and subscribe buttons on the SKOR North YouTube channel, we can keep this train rolling and growing all the way through. Maybe the Twins will win a playoff game for the first time in almost 20 years.
Hope they do it right.